Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the African Businesswoman podcast. This is a space where ambition meets culture and women like you and I rise. We build and we lead with power. This is the place for your weekly dose of inspiration, strategy, and real talk for women rewriting the business story of Africa. I am your host, Lovelyn, and today we're going to be talking about collaboration over competition. One of the things that we find, especially with women working together, is that they've always said that women can't work together, or that somehow there's a sabotage in there, or somehow there's this unhealthy competition. And I'm not saying that there's no truth to that because I've seen it happen. And listen, it's happened to me as well. But it's not like it's the norm. It's not like that is the majority of cases. I feel like because women have been painted as not being able to work together without backstabbing each other, people have actually started living that reality. You know, this thing about if you don't know who you are, people tell you or frame who you are to you, and you start to believe in it and you start to buy into it. And I think that saying that women cannot work together without backstabbing each other, I think that saying falls into that particular aspect, actually. So, I have been in business for a while now. I have been in business for double-digit years, and starting from family business, and one of my businesses, I currently work with a lot of women, and I've seen a lot of things. But let me tell you something. I have seen women work together, women backstab one another. I have seen men work together. I have also seen men backstab one another. But one thing that I want us to remember from this podcast, if you don't remember anything else, is that when women rise together, the pie that we share doesn't shrink. Like the world is our oyster, like they say. We take over more space, we take more space. So it's not like we're trying to fight for this round digestive biscuit. That digestive biscuit is just a piece of the pie. So when we rise together, we actually do more for ourselves and for our community. One of the barriers that women face, and probably this is why we find some of the backstabbing and all of that come into play, is that women have limited access to funding. Mentorship is limited. Even access to networks are limited for women. But these are historical things. These are things that have been there before. And because of that, it brings us into this whole unhealthy competition setting, because we're trying to get some funding from a basket that is already limited. But you know what? If we stop fighting against one another and we actually collaborate with one another, the basket of funding grows. It's no longer that small basket of funding, because more of us would be able to fund more businesses. So we really need to dismantle the systemic barriers that have been created over time and create new opportunities. We cannot keep looking at it that we are trying to get this pie, a piece of this pie. We need to understand that that pie is just one of many pies. And once anybody gets in there, they can multiply their peers, almost like, when the Bible talks about Jesus feeding multitudes and doing it with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. So listen, you can't turn the pie into a 5 loaves and 2 fishes situation if we just collaborate. Okay, we need to collaborate. Another thing that I find to be the problem is that it goes back to the same pie example, is that a lot of people and women, let's focus on women because this podcast is about women, focus on scarcity. They have a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset. And what is the difference? A scarcity mindset means it's just the pie. Once it runs out, it runs out. Everybody takes a piece, they eat it, and it's done. But an abundance mindset says this pie is just one of many, and I can multiply my piece of the pie. That is an abundance mindset. We have to move from scarcity to abundance mindset. And also, we have to stop seeing other women as rivals, because that is just absolutely crazy. I see all these videos online where they say maybe a man is cheating on his wife with another woman, and you see the wife going at it with this woman. And I'm wondering, excuse me, You have no business with this woman. It's your husband that cheated. So really, the person you should have an issue with is your husband. Why are you fighting this woman? Yes, she was in there in the mix, but she has no contract with you. She has no obligation to you or for you. Like, she's got nothing. It's your husband that opened the door for her to enter. So we need to start changing this mindset of rivalry and really start thinking collaboration, because there is power in collaboration. If you look at fashion spaces where women collaborate, where maybe one has a fashion house and another is a designer, and the designer can put her clothes in a fashion house, I've seen that happen. And that is collaboration. One person doesn't have to have the design, the fashion house, everything. Like, collaborate with other people that have other things. It makes your life easier. Even in food, you can have other people supply you. You don't have to go get it all yourself. When we share resources, we actually develop our network. When we collaborate, one of the things with the power of collaboration is that when we collaborate, we share resources. And because of that, our resource and our network actually grows, and it gives us more bargaining power, because there are more of us speaking in that space, and it makes us more visible. Having 10 people together working towards the same thing and in the same industry collaborating is better than having one lone wolf in the desert trying to do it all. So find practical ways to collaborate. Think about, pop-ups, events where you can, maybe somebody's having an event, you want to have a stand there. Look at co-hosting the event. Maybe instead of starting your own entire event together, you can plug into somebody else's event and you can be a sponsor or you can be a co-host. Like, you can plug into something else that someone is already doing. Cross promotion on social media. We cannot say this enough. When we cross promote one another's businesses, and listen, I understand the competition thing. Like, I will not post a competitor's business on my page simply because I want to support another woman. Like, I don't want to kill my business. But there are other things that don't compete with your business that you can really support them in. So you can cross post. Look at cross posting on one another's platforms. Share your supplier networks. I find it irritating sometimes when I ask for a supplier detail and somebody doesn't want to share it. Like, I've had this situation where I asked a guy for suppliers details, and he really gave me somebody that couldn't help me, but made it look like these are the main people. But another lady gave me a contact for people who could help me. So, like, can we just help one another out? Let's just help one another out with sharing supplier networks. Also, if you know a funding opportunity that may not even be applicable to you, but might be applicable to someone else that you know, another woman that you know, share it as well with them. Just because you are not getting it does not mean someone else should not get it. Where you can collaborate with someone to enter a new market, it's also great, especially when maybe you don't sell the same thing, but the two can go hand in hand. You collaborate, like, that will be so great. That will be so amazing. You'll be surprised what you can do with that. Now, I want you to think about women. I've said a couple of things. So I want you to really reflect and think about women in your circle that you can partner with. There are women that I've partnered with for different things, for events, for different things. I've partnered with different women for speaking opportunities. I've partnered with them for business. Like, I have partnered, shared the stage, shared business. We've done it together. There are a couple of women I've done it with. If you look around you, you will be surprised that some of the people around you actually can partner with you. Partnership or collaboration does not mean going to beg them for money or ask them to invest in your business. That's a different thing. That is you seeking for funding. I'm talking about where both of you collaborate, do something together, promote something together, do an event together, support one another's business. Say, maybe buy mine and you get this, you get the other one free, things like that. And if you work off of that, you'll be surprised and amazed what you can achieve. So replace envy and with curiosity. Like, this thing of hating on another woman, like, seriously, it's a waste of time and energy. It doesn't make you any money. So replace it with curiosity. Rather think, how do I learn from her? What is she doing that's making her a success? I'm not trying to ruin her business, but I want to know what is she doing that I can learn and apply to my business to grow it. I ask these questions of other women all the time. Create circles of accountability. Now, if you have, it's always great to have an accountability partner. An accountability partner is someone who you can tell your business too, in terms of this is what my business is doing, it's tough, it's this, and they can say to you, okay, but have you tried this? Have you done that? You said you were going to do that. Did you do it? What was the outcome? But you procrastinated, you took too long. Those people keep you accountable to work towards your goal, and you can be an accountability partner for somebody else as well. So you can form that. It doesn't have to be a big group, it can be one-on-one, but you should, as a business person, have an accountability partner. It could be your spouse, it could be your husband, nothing wrong with that. It could be a friend, it could be your parent, it could be a sister. Just make sure you have an accountability partner in business. Celebrate other women publicly when they win. Some of us, we just message them, it's always private. You don't want other people to see. I don't know, it's like the world will explode if you congratulated another woman in public. Like, come on, get off your horse and congratulate them in public. It says a lot, and it helps with their reputation, it helps with their image, and it helps with yours as well. So celebrate other women, because their win is also your win. And it doesn't mean that her win is your loss. You need to understand that there are situations where somebody gets two friends are applying, or they could be friends and not two women are applying for a job. One person gets it, the other one doesn't get it, and the other one is thinking of ways to backstab the other person so that person loses the job and they can worm their way in there. Like, listen, the other person got it, doesn't. Yes, in a way it's a loss for you, but they won it. It's okay. Move on to the next thing. Move on and look for the next opportunity. Don't say they only got it because of their looks. Don't say that, don't reduce their success to physical things. All right. So again, just to repeat some things for you, collaboration is not a sign of weakness. It is strategy. Part of this podcast is about strategy. It is strategy, and it's strategy for scaling. I mentioned in one of my podcasts before, 10% of 100% is better than 10% of nothing. That's what collaboration gives you, a percentage, gives you something. The future of African women in business will be written in partnerships, and definitely not rivalries. It'll be about the women that came together to make something happen. It's not going to be about the woman who backstabbed the other one the most. Find a woman that you admire, someone you'd like to collaborate with. Maybe you don't know how to start it off. Share this podcast with them. You'll be surprised at what you'll be really, really surprised at what you get from that conversation and from that relationship, and just by sharing this podcast. So thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. Remember to like, to subscribe, and comment. Comments are great. We welcome comments. And of course, please share this podcast with your world. I am Lovelyn Bassi, and this has been the African Businesswoman Podcast. Until next time, walk in power, lead with purpose, keep building, keep rising. Remember, your legacy starts now, and never forget, Africa needs your voice. Cheers and bye.